Hey friends, it's Hope, and today I am here to do my April wrap-up. This month I actually read 11 books, and today I believe is April 23rd, and I've just decided that I'm not going to complete any more books this month, just kind of take a week off of reading. I'm actually traveling to Florida and back to Missouri in the next week and a half, so I'm just going to do an early wrap-up and post it here in a couple days. So let's just go ahead and get started with my wrap-up. The first 3 books that I read this month were actually all on my Kindle, which is probably why I was able to read so quickly. So the first book I read was Isla and the Happily Ever After. I adored this book. I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. I didn't love it as much as I loved Anna and the French Kiss, but I loved it a lot more than I did Lola and the Boy Next Door. The next book I read was Trade Me by Courtney Milan. This is the first book in, I believe, the Cyclone series. I rated this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I'll continue on with the series. Probably not. It was a new adult book and it was just kind of like a solid 3 stars. I think I would have loved it a lot more if the relationship between the father and son was a lot different. I just found their dynamic really harsh. The next book that I read on my Kindle was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Y'all, Colleen Hoover is the queen. I really adored this book. I actually rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This is also a new adult book and the story is really captivating. Then after reading Ugly Love, I really wanted to read like a YA contemporary book, so I picked up Winger by Andrew Smith, and I did not expect to love this book as much as I did. I actually ended up rating this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I wish I could rate it more stars because I just loved it that much, and I did a non-spoiler book review and I will go ahead and link that down below. After that read, I felt like I was still wanting to continue on reading the YA contemporary books, and so I picked up All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I ended up rating this book a 4 out of 5 stars. After I finished that book, I finally finished Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. I started to read this last month with Mandy from Oh It's Mandy. We were doing a read along and she flew through the book and got done with it, and I was dragging behind. I guess I was in some type of a reading slump or something, but I finally finished this book. It was so good. I cannot wait to read the third, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I have to show you, I was excited to read because I wanted to see what all the talk was about, and it wasn't good talk that I wanted to find out. It was bad talk. I heard a lot of people say that they did not like this book, and I just wanted to see what it was like for myself. So I picked up The Jewel by Amy Ewing. I ended up rating this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. My biggest problem was I had zero connection to like any of these characters, so that made it a little bit tough to get through the book. I also found the insta-love a little bit creepy and way too full on. With that said, I really love the ending. I think I'll wait to hear what people say about the second book before picking up the second one, because if the second book is anything like the ending of this book, then I definitely think that I'll continue on with the trilogy. The next book that I read was Nightshade by Michelle Rowan. I decided to pick up this book based off of Lainey over at Ginger Reads Lainey's review of this duology, and I'm glad that I did. It did not disappoint. If you guys are looking for a novel that is just like totally kick butt and fully packed with intense scenes and a book that you are not going to get bored in, then this is definitely a book that you should pick up. I was never bored. I read this actually in a full day. I think I sat down twice and finished it in 2 settings. So yes, this was actually a very great read, and I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Then after that, I wanted to kind of jump back on to the new adult genre, and I had talked about doing a read along with one of my friends here on YouTube, so that meant I had to grab the first book because we were thinking about doing a read along for the second. So the first book is 10 Tiny Breaths by K.A. Tucker. I had never heard of her before, but I had seen this book around BookTube and like Goodreads and stuff recently, so I was really intrigued. I loved this read, and the ending was, oh my gosh, so good. I stayed up until like 2 a.m. the other night reading, so that was a little tough waking up the next morning, but I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I wanted to complete a book that my friend actually wrote. She wrote a book, I believe that's called Progeny of a Madman, and it is a fantasy book. It's not like an epic fantasy, and it kind of is like borderline YA or just like adult fiction, but it was really, really good. If I had to rate it, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and she just wrote it over the last couple of years and sent me the copy over my email, and so I just printed it out and I have it here. So I made notes and stuff and did a full written review, but if she ever decides to get this published and come out, then I'll probably do a full review for you guys so you can see what it's all about. And then the last book that I read this month was Pride and Prejudice, and I don't know where my copy went, but I'm sure I'll put a picture up here. I ended up not rating this book on Goodreads because through most of the book I had no idea what was going on, because apparently I'm not used to reading classic books and I had to rely a lot on Spark Notes. Thank you so much, Abby, for giving me that suggestion. I just watched the movie with my sister-in-law and loved it. So yeah guys, those were all the books that I read this month. Like I said, I feel like I read a lot and I feel super accomplished. But yeah, let me know below what your favorite book was this month, and like always, I hope you guys have a great day and I'm sure I will see you soon. Bye!